Solicitor General job. She was fairly open, answered questions well, and so I think you'll hear a lot of good questions on both sides of her on all these issues. But again, your point, one of my favorite examples of this court was actually the Exxon Valdez case, which is incredibly relevant today, where 32,000 plaintiffs, it took them years and years to even get any payouts. These fishermen, 8,000 of them died during that time, and the Roberts Court basically takes a $5 billion jury verdict and knocks it down to $500 million. And so those are the kinds of decisions that my colleagues will be talking about. But again, when the questions start, you're going to hear all kinds of things, especially from the other side, about Saudi Arabian gifts to Harvard and all kinds of a grab bag of those kinds of attacks. But I think you will hear defense and some attacks on the Roberts Court.
Do you have any clear sense of what the Republicans will be choosing as their line of attack against her? Obviously, the initial pick and then withdrawal of General Boykin was, to me, the biggest red flag I could possibly imagine. It was like they chose Orly Tates to come in there and question her. Do you have any sense of what direction they're going?
Well, I think the general theme, you're going to hear the military issues, even though the whole time she was there, the military were able to recruit on campus. But I think you're going to hear that. And then you're going to hear this political thing, which I think is really interesting, because you look at Sandra Day O'Connor, pretty much revered by people of different stripes. She was actually the elected Senate Majority Leader, Republican in Arizona. Or my colleague, John Cornyn, has served as a judge, and he's also served as a senator. So you have people that have been in roles where they advise presidents, John Roberts, but then they play a different role as well. So I think they are playing on that ground. But at the same time, when you look at her career as a whole, as Lindsey Graham actually suggested you do, which was an interesting beginning of his opening, where he cited Robert C. Byrd and said, you know, if you look at one incident, you may not agree with this guy, but when you look at his career as a whole, that's how you examine a man or a woman. I think he was saying that for a reason, because he was saying, I don't agree with everything Elena Kagan says, but there are some things I do agree with. So I don't think you're going to hear across the board attacks from the Republicans. I think Lindsey Graham will ask interesting questions. You also had the fact, Rachel, on the Republican side, that someone you've talked about quite a bit on this show, Scott Brown, introduced her today along with John Kerry. So you clearly see some voices that are taking a little different tack.
Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, of course, a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. I know it's going to be a real busy time in the Senate. We hope you'll come back and talk to us during this process.
I would love to do that again. Thank you.
Thank you.